Hey there, in today's video, I am doing a demo on 6 different types of texture medium that you can use to create additional texture in your art. So, and then layer up color or paint or whatever you want on top of that. So I had 4 different texture pastes that I had not used in a long time. So I wasn't even sure what they did or how they worked. And so I just created a little swatch of each along with some heavy gel matte medium and modeling paste, which I do use those supplies. But anyway, it's interesting because there is one in particular that I walked away with thinking, I'm going to use this. I have a little tub of it already, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. But I'm just going to encourage you, if you have anything languishing, any art supply languishing that you have not used in a long time, take out your art journal or piece of paper or something and swatch it or try it or test it, because I'm going to tell you, you might have a renewed interest in it, and if you don't, then maybe it's time, to pass it on to somebody else. So anyway, without further ado, let's start checking out the texture paste. Before we get started, I thought I would just show you the different textures that we're going to be sampling today. This is a natural sand. This is ceramic stucco, black lava, resin sand, matte super heavy gel, which you may be familiar with, matte gel, but we're going to show you I'm going to show you how you can use that in a different way. And then the flexible modeling paste. So these are all ones that are you can just get right out of a container and spread right onto your substrate. So I had considered adding in the plaster of Paris, but that is one you have to mix up. So that's a whole different beast. And so these are just available in tubs. This was, obviously a massive tub. And so anyway, I'm going to pull out a art journal page, and then we're just going to sample all of these. I've taken my page and I've just divided it into the 6 squares loosely, obviously. I just, no straight lines here. And then marked in what I'm going to use, because what will happen is when they dry, I'm not going to remember what is what. Although the black stucco or black lava, we would surely remember because it's black. So my thinking is we're going to put down a little bit of each of these in the squares, and then I'm going to let it dry and then come back over it with like a glaze so we can kind of see the effect that it might have. So like this resin sand here, it is exactly, wow, it is exactly what it says. It is sandy and interesting. Okay. Sometimes you have to, dig out your old supplies and see what the heck they are. Oh, look at that, black lava. It's interesting it's lava, because lava, I imagine, in my mind, from a volcano, isn't filled with this kind of speckled stuff, but then, what do I know? Lava could have all kinds of stuff in it that I've never seen it up close and in person. Okay, natural sand. Okay, now here's the difference. I can feel the difference, and it may be difficult because this is very white to see it on the camera. The resin sand was extremely gritty, and it's obviously a beige color. The natural sand is not as gritty, and it is, white. It has a white color. So the next one is the ceramic stucco, and looks like putty. Oh, it has sand in it too. Interesting. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but I guess stucco probably is sanded. So these, I must have bought these all, I don't know, they lasted, so that's good. They're still juicy and I'm able to spread them, which you would think they'd be dried out after having. And the reason I'm showing this one too is because it can also be used as texture. Look how it looks like frosting. So it also can create some nice texture. Granted, it's used more as an adhesive in collaging and different things like that, but I want to show you, and maybe I'll make a few ridges in it just to kind of, so it's not quite so smooth, so we'll be able to see it when we put the glaze over it. And this is a new jar because I do love this stuff. I like to glue sometimes fabrics or different things that require heavier duty gluing. Okay, so the last one is this modeling paste. and I have this massive tub. Sorry, that's so noisy. I'm getting to the bottom of it, and believe it or not, I actually have another tub of it. Okay, so I'm cracking myself up, which, you know, you're going like, what the heck? Okay, this is very cool. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it with a little bit of texture in it too, so that we can see it. It's just creamy and rich, and it's not as soft as the super heavy gel. That is very wet and soft. This is a little bit heavier duty, and it could be because the container's getting old, I don't know. So, okay, so I'm gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna come back and put a glaze on it, and I'm gonna talk about a little bit about the differences. If this is something that you might be interested in trying one of these down the road, then you'll kind of know a little bit more about the properties. All the textures are dry, and I can tell just from feeling them that I really like the stucco. It has a little bit of texture, but it's fairly smooth. Even the natural sand I do like. The resin sand feels a little aggressive to me. It's chipping off. And the black lava, I'm not sure about the color. I'm not sure that if it's black, I don't know. And it dried kind of funky. Anyway, the matte gel down here has the most sheen, and the modeling paste dried fairly smooth. So what I thought I would do, I could leave it like this, and of course this is nice just for the sake of example, but I thought I would put a little bit of glaze over the top. I'm just gonna use this transparent raw sienna Liquitex ink, and just put a little bit on top of each just to see what happens. And then that's it. But I kind of wanted you to know that there's all these mediums out there, and there's probably more different texture mediums out there that I don't even know. These just happen to be the ones that I have here that you can use to create texture and all sorts of things that you wouldn't even realize. But I wouldn't rush out and buy anything unless you thought there was one that particularly resonated with you. And like I say, I typically just use modeling paste for my texture, or I build it up with paint, or I build it up with paper and collage. So these other textures I do not use very often, but I might have to use these two right here. I think I really do like. So, okay, let's just put a little bit, let's just put a dollop there. And I'm trying to decide if I want to put some water on the brush. Maybe I'll grab a paper towel and just kind of dab it off here. And then just to see, just kind of spread it out. Yeah, I mean, and then I guess you could go in, let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I just am curious. And so this is where curiosity leads, is you don't know where it's going to lead, and you don't know how things are going to turn out. That is kind of cool with the black. I don't know. Maybe I do like that. I just don't know how I'd use it. So that's just it. It takes a little bit of exploring and a little bit of messing around, and then you can maybe come up with some ideas around how to use some of these different materials that maybe you wouldn't have thought of before. Okay, I kind of like dabbing it off like that, just to kind of get a little bit. All right, and like this one, the ceramic stucco, I feel like it really absorbed the ink much more than the sand and the black lava. This one kind of, I guess, absorbs it as well. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Better get a little more water. And this one, yeah, it almost resists it. It acts as a resist almost, the gel medium, which I guess is kind of how that would react in general, right? I mean, in general, because it's more of a glue. Oops, yeah, put that in the wrong container. Okay, and then there's the modeling paste, which also isn't going to be absorbent. So I guess that's the difference. So the modeling paste, now I want more on there. And I can see this actually was dry, but it's not dry underneath. So when I drug my brush over it, it created another spot there. So I think the difference is, now that I'm doing this, the modeling paste and the gel are going to act more almost as a resist. It will dry on top of it, but it's going to be different. These absorb the paint, or in this case, the ink, in a way. This kind of didn't absorb it very much either. And so that's just, I think it's just interesting. So if you find yourself with some different mediums, textures, try sampling it and just seeing what happens and what effects you can get, because I can tell you right now, I'm really liking this stucco. I'm going to keep that out, and I'm going to consider using it. This one actually almost looks to me like paper, torn paper. Do you see the edge? Doesn't that kind of look like torn paper around the edge there. Okay, so that was fun. It's fun to try things that you already have that are just wallowing in a drawer. And I would say if you do have some art supplies like I do that you have not used in a long time, get them out, get a piece of paper and just sample them and see what happens so that you can know, do I want to keep that or do I want to, you know, possibly gift it or, you know, get rid of it in some way, shape, or form. So anyway, okay, thanks for coming along with me on this journey of testing texture mediums. I will see you next time.